Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great week so far. Where are we at? Tuesday. That's great. I hope you had a good Monday. It always feels great if I'm on when I start my Tuesday and I know my Monday went perfectly. Even sometimes it would be a rest. I don't, my diet side and my training side, of course they are very important, synergy, but when I would rest, and if I have to rest, I don't take that as a bad day or a negative day. I've over the years learned to enjoy that. Okay, it's not what I even want to talk about. Anyway, the thing is to believe in yourself and the process that you've chosen to follow. So I always say, I say a lot of things. I always say a lot of things. It's also investment in yourself to shut the fuck up sometimes. But essentially, to invest in yourself is, I sometimes don't think people either believe in the process they're following or the plan, or maybe not in themselves. Or maybe they think that, maybe I always say, it's almost saying that I've really broken it down to the bare necessities in lots of cases. And because at some stage I had to do the same for myself. I had to break it down to the bare necessities, where sometimes we get clouded with all these other ideas and enticements of shortcuts or secret weapons. If you think sometimes other people don't know, I have many little sharp, I would say, it's like a golden hammer. It's like a little tool. It's a golden tool. It's something that you've refined over the years, that you've worked with a lot, that when you use it, you trust it. It's almost like that. So as I said, as a coach, I have almost a toolkit or a tool belt with lots of these little tools that I use to try and so that we can progress, or we can get you closer to your goal. People are different, and over the years you kind of learn certain things that work, certain things that don't work. But again, the only thing it's going to do is test the athlete sometimes. Sometimes you need a little bit of testing to see if you want it enough. And it sometimes takes some time to take a step back and then come back, and then you fully invest it. And you see that sometimes, especially with us. We took a long break now. There was nothing really, enticing us to compete. There was nothing really pulling us out of our chairs. Only this year there was something coming up when we had Las Vegas that was kind of enticing. But at the end of the day, extremely expensive. And considering all the other things, we decided perhaps not to do that, But we've started the prep, and we are enjoying it so much that we're not going to stop. We're going to continue, and we'll probably be ready for either a shoot or another show, whenever we're ready. I told Greta maybe we'll see 2, 3, 4 weeks out, saying, you know what, I feel I'm ready now to compete. Let's look for a show. And then I do a last 2 weeks or 4 weeks prep quickly, just to really, really tighten up, But then by then I already wanted to have about 5, 6 months dieting in, to kind of be at that really, really sharp level to be competitive wherever I compete, But the thing is I already have the plan in place. So every day, it's very easy if you think about your capacity, that all the other things you have to deal with. If I'm not second guessing myself or my plan, it makes my day a lot easier. And if you can really invest daily, then small things you do, it pays off in the end. So it's almost, I sometimes think it's so interesting how one craft like bodybuilding, some things you learn, how it's you see it in many other sports, you see it in many other crafts. I have a friend that did that works with bonsais, and we were talking about, and he was a previous athlete of mine, and we were talking about the bonsais, and he was saying something about how he's raising the plants and about the sun and the nutrients and so on and so on. I don't remember the complete conversation, but I said it's so reflective of when you work with athletes, the same kind of pressure they can handle, certain type of work you do, is there is perhaps sometimes a growth spurt or something, but there's always a negative, and it's not sustainable, for the plant, not for the athlete either. At the end of the day, we're all organic, it kind of works the same way. You have to accept these things. So you can't just, I always say, I don't want to burn athletes. I try to make champions, not flash in the pan, quick athletes, and then they sometimes have heavy rebounds after shows, and it's very difficult for them to handle that. I don't really like doing that. Some athletes do like the highs and the lows of our sport, riding that wave, I guess. We're all different, so you've kind of, I don't want to say I've seen it all, but over the years you see many things, how people handle things, how they handle preps, how they handle life, just through friends and acquaintances and so on, you know. Never judging, because you always know people have their own shit to do. People have their own lives, their own families, their own, as I always say, like each person is almost like a small little universe, where, you know, looking outward. So everybody always around that individual, you know, kind of him or her being at the center of whatever they're doing. So interesting to, we see what, 7 or whatever billion people on earth, and all small little universes doing their own thing. So very difficult to say, you know, but at the end of the day, if we're talking about the sport, we're talking about development. You as an athlete, you're going to have to be strict. I was thinking tonight when I was driving back from training, I was like, it's almost like walking a knife's edge. If you want to live correctly, you know, if I'm saying correctly, you know, just not, have a better way of life in general, and compete as an athlete, those two together, it's almost like everything on earth is like double-edged sword. You can always get positives and negatives, and with being living kind of as an athlete, there's always that fine line you have to walk, where you can do some certain things and you can't do you can't do other things. It's almost like a balance you always have to keep, and it's with many things like that in life. I was saying how you see the craft and other crafts, thinking about investments too. If you're investing money, most will tell you people that don't have the patience to do that usually lose, because they can't ride out a wave. They don't trust the you know, whatever plan they had in place, and that's a bad thing, and it usually impacts them negatively. I once talked to somebody that said they'll give some coaching with trades, and you first told me, go and read a book that's about that thick, and you've read that, come back to me. And it's almost like a taste of your commitment to the plan, you know, and to get your mind right between patience and controlling what most would call emotions, or, you know, fluctuations, or what the hell ever, just as an example. Okay, anyway, that's the thing I want to talk about, is really believe in the plan, trust the process, and you as the individual, the athlete, needs to tag along to the ideal that you've set, needs to tag along, stay right in line with what you said you were going to do. If you're not, you're going to slip off. You're going to slip off, you see. So whatever, I just thought I'd share that with you. I was thinking about that tonight. Invest in yourself, invest in your plan, and just never fucking give up.